Well, we're going to kick off selections tip week here on Photoshop Killer Tips. So the tips will all be related to selections in some way. And the first one is a little bit more advanced. I'm going to assume that you know a little bit about making selections using channels. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a very quick selection of the area over here. I'm going to go to my channels palette, create a new channel, and fill that area with white, because a lot of folks use white on channels to make selections with, because you can paint all these different things you can do with channels. But let's take a look at one of the tips, which is you can use a brush, all right? Because if I command click on the Mac or control click on the PC, this is a way for me to save a selection inside of my document, right? Well, if I command or control click, that gives me a selection. It selects everything that's white. So I'd have to tweak things that are white to refine the selection. Let me go ahead and turn on the RGB composite here. I'm just going to zoom in on an area of detail down here on this photo. All right, we're going to zoom in down here, and you can see that the selection starts to bleed into parts of the photo. Well, what you can do, and so here's the tip. All this is building up to the tip, which is to take the brush tool, all right, set your foreground color to white, and let me turn off the composite for a second. I want to show you what happens when you set your foreground to white and you paint with a blend mode of overlay. Because obviously, if I paint with a blend mode of normal, it's just going to paint white, right? But if I paint with a blend mode of overlay, I can paint anywhere I want on the black. I'm painting right now and nothing's happening. But if I start to paint over here on the white, watch what happens. Let me zoom out to get rid of that grid. Watch what happens to the edge. See that? See how it's refining that edge, and it's making it just a little bit more crisp. So when you see here, if I turn on the composite, watch what it starts to do. Okay, it'll start to make that edge a little bit more crisp, and it'll actually start to take away some of the selection that bled over into this tree that happens to be in this photo here. So as I paint with white on that overlay blend mode, I can refine that a lot better. Now, I might have to come in here and tweak because it did reveal a little bit of those sky areas here, but let's take a look at another area here. And you can see right along the house. Again, let me paint with white and a blend mode, and you can see how it goes in there. And it's automatically pulling away some of that selection that bled over into something that I didn't want to. So we can turn the composite off, and again, you can see what happens when you're painting with overlay. It just kind of makes your selection edge, or whatever that edge, just a little bit more crisp. So there's your tip. Use the overlay blend mode when you're working on a mask, and you'll be able to refine that edge a lot easier than if you were to just paint with white.